What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901 live post-game show right after the Grizzlies win against the Mavericks in a must-win playoff game. I guess a play-in game in a sense, but it was playoff game all around. They win 122-106. It's led by Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr. The big three played really well tonight, but also they got a lot of help just of the ancillary pieces. And yes, I am repping my guy, the Fort Wayne Mastodon himself. It is John Consard. JITMAN was on fire tonight. He played like his hair was on fire. And in all honesty, the game was started off by Ja Morant, and he looked like he was incredible. And then kind of cooled off in the second half, but in the end, it was all of the pieces that were surrounding Ja, Jaren, and Bane, and the likes of Zach Edey and John Consard doing the little things that really helped this team win. But we're going to get into all of that and much more as we always do. And yes, our guy Nate is here. And no, he doesn't need a snow globe tonight. We're going to get to it. Let's get. We are Grizz 901, and we are with Bluff City Media. I am Daniel Greer. That is Nate. What up, man? How are you?
Happy Bear. We are Happy Bear tonight. All right. First off, I owe everyone that came to the show last time an apology. I was experiencing a Grizz-pression. I really thought they were going to be the worst. Both of the last few times they played them, I felt great about those games. And honestly, I think you're a Ja Morant ankle away from winning that game against the Warriors the other night. I honestly think all the momentum was on the Grizz side. You have Ja, you're closer. You go and you win that game anyways. But beside the point, I was in a Grizz-pression, and I said some things along the lines of, I would be okay if they lost this next game. I was so sad. Boy, by the time we got to tip-off tonight, I was going to be devastated if they lost this game. I was sitting there. I think I messaged you guys. I don't know if that was today or yesterday. I messaged you and I was like, bro, I am all in on the Grizz winning this next game. I was like, going to lose it if they lost. And bro, I was so nervous. I was like, they might not have Ja Morant. If they do, it's going to be one ankle Ja Morant. I was just so nervous. They got Anthony Davis. Boy, let me tell you, that's all they got.
Wow. Yeah. They're bad.
Somebody needs to go tell Nico Harrison and Mr. Dumont that defense is important, because they just gave up 120 to one ankle Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. So I don't know if they know that defense is important. Have they ever talked about defense being important? Dallas fans, if you're in here tonight, I'm so sorry.
Listen, let's start off with that first and foremost. Obviously, this puts the Dallas Mavericks fans out of their misery, and that is not a slight in the easiest way at all. I'm talking about, my God, I feel for them, because having your numero uno traded away in the dead of night away from your team, breaking your hearts, and then you bring back a guy who I love, player. Anthony Davis. He's incredible, awesome. He just hurt all the time. And him being, what he was tonight, he was incredible. He struggled to stay on the court because of injuries throughout, which will be the consistent basis of, how he is as a player. But all in all, the Dallas Mavericks fans, whatever they went through this year, I do not wish that on anybody. I'm just glad that now they don't have to do it for 4 more games. They can get that out of the way. They're done. I know it's going to hurt, but probably a little bit. They can kind of move on. But let's look at JD Denise. Hello. Good to see you guys. What a great team win. Tumas does not play the entire bench. Plays the top 3. Much improved. All right. Thoughts on the game just overall off the top. Nate, what you got?
Bro, whatever they've got for Ja Morant, I just need for my general day-to-day livelihood. Yo, if I could just get a little bit of those, whatever he's got. I need one in this knee, this hip, and I'm starting to get to this ankle too, but we don't have to do that one yet, bro. When he had that putback, a noise came out of me that scared the living daylights out of my wife and child. Both of them went and did that little number to me. It was awesome. And I was terrified to see him get that high in the air. But dude, Ja looked awesome. And that's not the team that you would expect him to be the big deal against. In the first half, he was a crazy big deal. But they're so, big, right? Long dudes, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, AD. Dog. It was awesome. So good to see Ja doing Ja things. Honestly, between that Ja putback and Spencer Dinwiddie jacking up some 39-foot BS when they were already down 20, I was like, oh, man, yeah, the Grizz got this. Then they let it get close again, but I was like, as soon as Spencer Dinwiddie put up that shot, I was like, oh, they are so screwed.
No doubt.
But
and Goon the Shooter says, that's Michael's secret stuff. But that's the trainer's secret stuff, no doubt.
Yep.
I think Ja played incredible. He cooled off in the second as everybody.
The shot wore off.
Probably saw that coming, but the fact is, like, he creates the momentum, right? He creates the flow of the game. It's all around him, and I don't think he understands how much of an effect he has on the flow of the game, whether it's making shots or not. It's all about the energy. It's the uptick. It's the tempo. And so Ja playing great tonight. Just another good game out of him. And so it was a game that you look back on, you're like, all right, cool. Ja kicked it off. Ja got it going. Ended up with 22 points, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, which is almost close to a triple double in itself. And so at that point, you're talking about a game that Ja played really well. Let's talk about another guy. And somebody just brought him up just a second ago in here, and they're talking about Jaren. Jaren, 4 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 or 5 from deep, 10 of 18 overall. Talking about a guy that was very efficient, we'll say. Jaren Jackson Jr. tonight.
First off, smoking mirrors is a hilarious way to get that phrase wrong. I had to bring it up. It just made me laugh. Dude,
we're gonna see 17 messages from Goon over the next 2 minutes of you talking.
I know, dude. I mean, it was hilarious. He said Jaren's smoking mirrors. I was like, that's not what that phrase is.
He's still going.
Maybe lose it. Jaren low-key carried for a stretch there at I don't know if it was the end of the third or beginning of the fourth, but he just kind of looked like what he'd been throughout most of the regular season, right? They gave him the ball. He'd go score. He'd go make something happen. It was awesome to see. So showed up in a big way. And after a pretty quiet first half, he got him kicked off with that corner 3, actually, but not a huge first half out of him, but was solid all night long, both ends of the floor. And then there was a time when, Dez just can't get loose on his own against good defenders, right? And Ja was getting a rest, and Jaren was just a go-to guy again. It was great to see. So it's good, because if they have any hope of competing in this next round, then that needs to continue, right? He cannot be a non-factor like he has been through a lot of the recent stretches. So great to see him do that tonight, and great to see him do it against solid bigs. I mean, between AD, Lively, and Gafford, it's one of the most solid big rotations in the league, right? So everything else around them is so rough without Kyrie. But it was great to see him. Great to see him do that, and hopefully it continues on.
Yeah, I think Jaren played good tonight. I don't think it was a game that anybody would say, "Oh my God, Jaren was awesome." Jaren was really good. I thought Jaren was consistent. There was no point in the game that I thought Jaren was taking over the game, but that's okay. I don't think you have to have that from every single game. I just think you have to have consistency. And I think Jaren staying out of foul trouble allowed you to play Edie and play, other guys, and not have to play Bagley as big of minutes, right? You were able to play Jaren. Looks like Jaren ended up playing 36 minutes, which every starter played 30 minutes. Aldama played 29. So you had a lot of guys playing, close to 30 minutes. 6 guys playing close to 30 minutes. Next on the list, and yes, Wayno, there's no staying away from this. Zach Edey. One of the best games I've seen him play the entire season. Zach Edey played really, really good tonight. Wayno, there is no avoiding this conversation. I always give love when it's just due. Zach Edey played well tonight. He played within himself. This is the kind of game that Zach Edey can actually dominate in, a game where they're playing a bigger units. And honestly, they went small, and he was still able to stay on the court by matching up against Anthony Davis. And that was the biggest thing for me, is when you have a guy, and this one's for you, King Meeks, Zach Edey, being able to stay on the court with Anthony Davis. I think that you have to give him credit where credit is due. And a great game out of him, a double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds, and an assist. Zach Edey, 7 of 9. He dunked the ball so much more tonight. All props and all love to Zach Edey tonight for sure.
They got him going early. They got him some touches early. He was in a rhythm, and it led to this. This was the biggest thing I saw for him tonight. He doesn't hesitate or overthink at any point. There was the one play where they doubled Dez at the top of the key. Dez kind of clutched and then threw it to him in the paint. And then just like the fastest I've ever seen him move, one fluid motion, takes it under a guy, goes up, dunks it. It was one step from the free throw line. And I was like, that is what you have to do. Just be decisive all night long. And he was awesome. And he's battling on the boards. I was amazed he only had 11 tonight. I thought he was boxing out left and right. I think there's probably some ones that he boxed out and tipped that he just didn't get credit for. But he was a monster tonight against, again, one of the, in my opinion, most solid big rotations in the league. Now, helpful that you don't exactly have to attack Najee Marshall on the perimeter, right? And so there's certainly that part of it. There's going to be things like that next series that, he can't sit there and just keep dropping back against SGA and Jalen Williams and so on. But amazing game from him. I thought he battled against 3 really good bigs all night long.
Yeah, we'll see in the next matchup if he turned into a pumpkin or not. I hope not. But I'm not completely over on the Zach Edey Island. Yes, Judah, I still think he could actually be unplayable in the playoffs. And so I'm not going to give him all love. I'll give him some love, but just, hey, slow your roll a little bit. Zach Edey got some love tonight, played great, but I'm not always sold yet. I'm not pitching a tent on the island. Wrong phrase. All right, let's go to the next guy.
It's the wrong phrase.
Let's go to Desmond Bain.
Jeez.
22 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Ja and Desmond both going off for 9 assists as well. Is incredible. Bain, an 8 for 15 as well. The fact that he is efficient. He did have some turnovers. I'm curious how many he had. 6. I thought they'd be high. 6 turnovers. Incredible. Wow.
Who are we talking about?
Desmond Bain.
Oh, I thought we'd be talking about Ja. Des had 6 turnovers tonight. He had a couple that were pretty brutal, but I didn't notice all the rest. The one where he lost his dribble so bad it looked like he was trying to go behind the back.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Lost his dribble. Yeah, I did not expect him to have 6 tonight and Ja to only have 2. It felt like that was flipped. But I don't even want to talk about the bad part of it. Like he does need to chill going against him. Like I don't want to see him taking any Oklahoma City defender off the dribble, to be honest with you, unless it's off of a screen and he gets a lane to split. But like the whole one-on-one thing with Dez, not against really good defenders, right? Especially long defenders. But outside of that, dude, that was one of my favorite things about tonight was, in one part, everybody did their job.
Yeah.
Like Edey did his job. Pippen did his job. Santi did his. Jitty blew his out of the water.
Slow your roll. We'll get there.
I know. But more importantly, every one of the big 3 did their job, which is vastly more important, right? Every one of those guys has to be the focal point at some point in the game.
Right.
Dez was doing it in the second half and some of the second quarter. Ja got him started off. Jaren carried for a little stretch there in the second half. Every one of them was awesome for at least a stretch and solid the entire night. So love seeing that from Dez. Love seeing him get hot from deep and actually take threes again. That's been nice to see It's almost like he hasn't been shooting threes all year because of some jacked up offense or something. And then all of a sudden he's shooting threes again and life is good. But yeah, as long as he's going 50% from three and shooting the way he shot the ball tonight, we're good.
Yeah. I think a good game out of Dez. I think he played within himself. Pippen, tonight, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 5 from deep. Those deep shots, from beyond 3 were big for him. It kept him, I wouldn't say playable. It just kept him within the actual game because he kept him within the flow. He really wasn't doing much. He was chasing Clay around at times. He was really just kind of, this wasn't his type game. And so Scottie Pippen Jr., I don't want to spend too much time on him. But overall, it was a decent game on Scottie Pippen Jr. But it was a game that he's now showing consistency. Art's asking a question again. I want to make sure we bring this up real quick. And this is for the next series. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves to the point of talking about that actual series because we'll get into all that eventually throughout the second half of the show. But your thoughts on Scottie Pippen Jr. Would you actually continue to play him in the starting lineup going into next series?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I think you've got to just go. I know you want to get to him later. I think you got to go JD there.
Okay.
To be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think either way you go, you'll be fine there. But I think we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
I do think that Big Die's right. I think the coach will still start Pippen.
Yeah.
I really do.
I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't know what I would do there. It's not necessarily wrong because it's of everybody you have, he's the quickest defender you have right now. So maybe you put him on SGA, who's so good at starting and stopping, and he's your best chance. But he's also pretty foul prone, and SGA loves to get to the free throw line. So it's kind of pick your poison.
Right. No doubt. All right, last guy, Ja Morant, 22.7. We've already done Ja Morant. We already did Ja. We don't have to do him. Let's get to Bagley played fine. 6 points, 5 rebounds. I think it was a good switch that Bagley played him. That Bagley was played tonight. But let's get to the next guy, Santi Aldama. 29 minutes again. Not a great game at Aldama tonight. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Anything with Aldama that you loved or hated?
I don't like Santi for this next series, which is tough. This game was just one of those where it's like when he goes against solid bigs, it's not great because he just can get bullied quite a bit. And then if he goes against athletic wings, he can't get free at all. He can't get loose, and he gets beat to rebounds, right? They just get to rebounds faster than him. So I don't know. I don't feel great about it, which is not good because you need him to show up in a series. If he's knocked down, then that changes a lot, but he has not been knocked down lately.
No.
So didn't think it was a bad game from him tonight. I just thought it was fine.
Fine.
Okay.
And that's okay. That's okay to have a fine game out of an ancillary piece, not in the big three.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, the JITMAN, John Konchar. No, I do think Jitty played a good game, and I always love Jitty and how he plays. There's nothing he does sexy. He looks like he doesn't really care when he's playing, and it's so funny. But I was given this by Jitty's college coach. So it was his back-to-back. I don't know. There's something to do with the they played at Indiana. Hell if I know. Anyway, he gave it to me. It's one of their special ones, and so it's my Konchar jersey. But I think that a game out of John Konchar where you have 5 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, he goes 1 of 3 from deep. You would like to have, that be 1 of 2 or 2 of 4. I would like to see him a little bit higher on the percentages of 3-pointers, but in all honesty, like John Konchar played very well tonight. And in all, I just think that he is a guy that could be major in this next series. I know we'll talk about all of that much later, but I think tonight he was great. I think he's played well as of lately just because he fits in, and you don't need him to do anything but get rebounds, play defense, and maybe get some steals here and there.
Yeah, and he's been making his threes. Like, I think he's only 1 for 3 tonight, and I was surprised to not see 1 or 2 of those go down or something. I mean, if he's going to do everything else he does and make threes, like, he's not going to be an amazing defender, but he's going to defend well for you. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's going to rebound. If he can make a perimeter shot for you, that's really all you can ask for. Right.
Any offense.
Yeah. I mean, he's been awesome. Yeah. It was not on my bingo card either, to be really clear.
Mine either.
Yeah. That's like, I'm like, yeah, not who I would expect to be there. Honestly, kind of tells a story of the season that he had the opportunity to have a comeback story. But listen, man, I've loved to see it. He's been awesome for the team. So, he was awesome tonight. There was at one point, I think he had like 7 rebounds in a 3-minute stretch. Insane.
Well, because he's everywhere, and I don't know, and I don't want to listen. I'm not trying to just completely just like make this all about Jitty, but when you watch a lot of his defense, it's smart, and I don't say that because, oh my God, Jitty's so awesome. It's the little things that I see that as like when I view it as a coach, I'm like, all right. Like, what is Santi doing? Dude, you're overhelping way too much. Like, you're putting yourself in a bad spot to not be able to recover. And then I watched Jitty, and he's doing a lot of things that are really good that you would love to have just a glue guy, as Grizz Girl says, like a glue guy just kind of play, his role. And he plays defense at a really good level. He's not the best on-ball defender. I think he's fine, and I think he's going to be okay, especially in the next series, because I think he'll get minutes. But in all honesty, he does a lot of the little things right, especially on the defensive end. And so if you're ever watch him when the ball goes to the other side. Where does he go? And then when the ball's kind of coming back, does he cut that corner a little bit to maybe make the defender work a little bit more? So it's the little things. And I think he does need a little bit of love because, Jitty has been, a really good vet for this team. And he is the vet. He's the oldest guy on this team. And I said that on the Morning Thunder, so if you have a chance, go check out the Morning Thunder. It's a podcast with Bobby that we did over there. And so it was his first episode. And so I want to have that on there. So go check out Morning Thunder, show him some love. Would love and appreciate everybody going over there just to view it. It's very short, 30 minutes. But just kind of get everybody ready and what his thoughts are on the Grizzlies and my thoughts are on the OKC, just in case. But all in all, I thought Jitty played tonight. And it was a fun game. So either way, good night out of the old JITMAN.
I got a question for you.
Oh shit!
Should we rename the play-in tournament the Atlanta Invitational or the DeRozan Invitational?
Well, you could name it the DeRozan. God, what's his name? The guy from the Bulls that joined him this year.
Levine.
They last 3 years, him and DeRozan have been playing on the same team and got knocked out all 3 years in a row.
I'm just saying, I feel like every time we get to the play-in, it's like you might as well, if you're a Hawks fan or you're a DeMar DeRozan fan, might as well just buy your tickets at the beginning of the season.
Well, the Grizzlies played that twice.
Yeah, but they've also had a lot more happen in between. Yeah. Just saying, they sort of this year obviously turned into a disaster down the stretch of the regular season, but the first year was like the come-up season, right? Nobody expected them to be there at all, much less win it, right? And then see all these teams. Like we talked about the beginning of the year, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, the Kings were like, we want what the Bulls got. And then they got what the Bulls got in a very literal sense. Anyways, I was just watching. I was like, oh my God, they're here again.
Wayno's got a question. Would you take DeRozan on this squad?
Okay, first of all, it wasn't a question. It was a statement. And I'm sorry, Wayno, but God, no. And no. Partially just because I've gone way too far out on that plank to ever come back. But no. Now, if you go back to like prime DeMar DeRozan's a little bit different, but no, dude, I don't want the show of DeMar DeRozan. I hate watching free throws, so that's part of it.
Yeah, I knew that answer. That's why I had to ask.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to get into some more stuff because there has been a lot of questions kind of surrounding this game, just in general. And yes, Rage Temple, I feel like Daniel needs a signed Jitty jersey for sure. I should get a Grizzly one. I would love the Vancouver one or the old blue one by Jitty. Why not? But the only problem is he'd probably be traded this offseason, more than likely.
Get him to sign a Menards uniform.
A Menard.
With his name and number on the back. That'd be awesome. Do that instead. That'd be fantastic.
Wow.
That would be great.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that the Grizzlies, as well as they play tonight, they did have control of the entire game. What do you think that's from? In all honesty, like you're talking about the control of the game, the dominance of the game. Like if you had to just say, hey, this is the one thing I'm pointing at why the Grizzlies just completely dominated. What's that one thing for you?
They dominated the paint. I mean, they just owned the paint tonight. And that was super surprising. I was trying to think of why they dominated the paint. And they just, for some reason, they got into the paint at will, which is not what typically happens. Usually teams go boxes and elbows, and then they force you to knock down shots. Now, they did shoot 41% from three tonight.
They did.
Like, that's part of it. But, that's one of those teams that, Dallas is not a good team, to be really clear. But at the same time, what they're good at should make life in the paint hard for Memphis. And it just didn't at all at any point tonight. So I think the Grizzlies did spread them out a little bit at the beginning of the game. They knocked down threes early. I think they were started 7 for 11 from three or something crazy. So that certainly would have been part of it. But at the same time, the other part of it is, you looked out at that floor and I was like, they have nothing besides Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Like what, the ghost of Klay Thompson?
God, he sucks.
Like, dude, should we say it? What a bum.
He is a bum. Hey, so on today's show, one of the questions was about Klay having a huge game, bounce back game, and we had to on the show we have to give one word. Okay, I should have said bum. That would have been great. But I said squirrel. And I was like, because even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. And that was the thing, just because I hate Klay Thompson. And I think that it is in Memphis, it is ingrained in us to hate Klay Thompson. And so I for sure made the thumbnail with him on it because he looks so goofy. And because AD's pictures were so god awful, it made him look homeless. I had no chance to put him on the thumbnail because I felt bad for him because I like him, but not Klay Thompson. He can look as goofy as he wants. But yes, I hate that bum for sure.
Well, we hate TWS. So that's part of it. If you
don't know what TWS, you haven't been here long enough. Only the OGs know what TWS is.
If you know, you know. But I looked out and I'm like, okay, all they have is Anthony Davis. All they really got to do is say, okay, as soon as Anthony Davis gets anywhere near that free throw line or gets near that elbow, you just send somebody else. And then if Najee Marshall hits the shot, Najee Marshall hits the shot.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad for AD. I really do. He's like the scapegoat. He's just never going to be loved in Dallas because of what happened. And he's such a good player. People should appreciate him. And he also is he's been playing hurt the entire year trying to prove himself. Yeah. Anyways. But I just looked at that team. I'm like, there's one, the Grizzlies were able to get into the paint at will, which was, again, surprising to me. But two, they have nobody outside of Anthony Davis. They have no guard play to really make that thing work. So that's, if you only have Anthony Davis and no guard play, you're kind of screwed. So
no, I love AD. I think he's incredible. Unfortunately, he's marred by injuries, and he's never really been injury free in a season, and it's crazy. But when he's on, dude, he is on, and that's what it all comes down to. But all in all, the Grizzlies played very well. The Grizzlies win 120-106 in a game that they had to have to get past this game to get to the point where they could actually have their next game. And they're going to play Sunday against OKC Thunder. And so Last thoughts on this game tonight against the big win over the Dallas Mavericks. To now, we play Sunday. And before I let you give yours thing, I'm not doing a show on Easter. I would like to stay married. And so I am going to not do a show. I'm going to not do a show on Easter. And so there will not be a post game after the first game. I know that does not make sense, but in my mind, it makes sense. And so no post game show after the first game. We will make sure we're there from now on. I don't see us having any other issues with any other dates as far as I'm aware. But we will not have a post game on Sundays, just so everybody is on the same page now going forward. But put a bow on this.
Super duper cool happens. Maybe we'll be here.
Maybe that night. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, put a bell on this game. 120-106 win over the Dallas Mavericks.
Thank God.
You pour that.
I was gonna be. I mean, when I tell you I had kind of done a complete 180, I was going to be truly devastated if they did not win that game tonight. I don't know what flipped in me. I think I'm just too competitive. I just was like, if they don't win this game tonight, I'm going to lose my mind. I had a whole outfit planned for if they lost a game. Like I was going over the deep end. But glad they won. Glad to see Ja look like Ja. I need him to make a really quick flight to Germany to get whatever LeBron gets, and then make his way back and be magically healed completely by the time something rolls around.
It made me think of Magically Delicious.
Magically Delicious. Not that. That would be weird to say about another grown man. But
what are you drinking tonight? What are you drinking tonight?
A very elegant pour for a big time win.
Migos.
Absolutely. I did go. It is a very nice Migos. It is a Neho, but Migos with a touch of water.
Yeah. So I'm drinking. So my daughter's name is Penelope. There is a Penelope whiskey, which I think is really, really good. It's only an 88 proof, which it can be a daily drinker, not a daily drinker. It can be your social drinker or whatever. So I enjoy a little Penelope. For sure. And every now and then, just because I do the show, I like to have some kind of stuff. That way I'm not spitting fire as I'm talking the whole time. So I do have a little Coke here and there if I need some. But yes, I'm not drinking Jack and Coke. I'm drinking a little Penelope on the ice. But
Penelope's actually good.
Yeah. Grizzlies win tonight, 120-106 over the Dallas Mavericks in the last play-in game. The battle of the 8 seed. The Grizzlies now take on the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday. It is a noon tip, which is a little weird. It is the first game of the entire day. It will be on ABC.
Yep.
Nate, the Grizzlies take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if we look at these odds, and I don't even know if the odds are up yet, but our guy, Ryan Meadows, if you could get us the odds of the game, I would appreciate that. But he says the series odds just dropped. OKC minus 4,000 to win the series. That's an implied odds of 98% to advance. So your thoughts on the Grizzlies taking on Oklahoma City Thunder?
First off, minus 4,000. Well, you might as well just go ahead and drop some money on it. Like, might as well just go ahead and put some money on the Grizz. Like, you're going to get your money's worth no matter what. But
are you?
Hear me out. What if Jason Kidd let the cat out of the bag before the game tonight? When he was asked about Anthony Davis playing, and he said, I'm just reading the script. What if Jason Kidd is so mad at Adam Silver forcing them to trade Luka Doncic to the Lakers, who are about to be cursed to oblivion once LeBron retired, and Adam Silver's over there just having a freaking flick fest with himself about that trade on that talk he gave the other day? Terrible commissioner. What if there is a script and the script has been laid out? Because here's what I've noticed, Andrew Greer. John Morant was not on any NBA national promotion all season long. Could not find him. Over the last week of the regular season, I saw John Morant 3 times on NBA promotions. This was not in the play-in. This is when you're playing the Nuggets, when you're playing the Wolves, when you have these big-time games. Tonight, I see him at the center of the promotion for the play-in game. Not only is he on there, they didn't put the Grizzlies All-Star from this year at the center of the promotion. It was all John Morant highlights. He's in the very middle of the picture. Now, what if SGA has been propped up all season long? SGA is going to win the MVP. What if Adam Silver has been playing us all along and he is just going to unleash the tornado that is John Morant to dunk on that Canadian and become the face of the NBA again in a stunning Game 7 victory on the road to advance to the second round, and John Morant becomes the face of the league again. I was just saying, crazier things have happened. Plus, we're talking about a series, and I want to be happy. So, I'm going to go tinfoil hat, because it's the only way I can be happy with this look ahead. You heard it here first.
Listen, Nate, I try to get on your level, but I don't wear the tinfoil hat at all. What I do see is OKC minus 12.5 in the first game.
Sorry, minus what and a half?
12.5.
Minus what and a half, Daniel?
12.
Call 12. That's gonna be the headline. Grizzlies, 12.5 point dog. Call 12. Ja game winner. I just don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Master P or Little P or Baby P is trying to rain on our parade. This will be the easiest series ever for OKC. I'm just excited that you could spell that because it made me nervous that you weren't going to get there, P. And so I get it. You try to keep it simple. You got your name. It's very P. Okay. I know it is a little P, but you got a little OKC there. I understand.
Listen, 3 letters is harder than 1.
I get it.
He
really challenged himself 3 times.
I'm just trying to make people money. It's plus 4,000, baby. I'm just trying to give you the scoop that Jason Kidd gave us before the game started. Adam Silver's been trying to subtly put in there. I don't know if anybody else has studied marketing at all, but I made a C in that class. And guess what? Nothing is on accident. Ja Morant's made a reappearance on national promotions lately.
So
I'm calling Bovada.
So if we find the script, and listen, I will look tonight. If somebody has anything out there, tag us at Grizz901 Live. I would love to see it. But I haven't seen the script yet. But I bet it's out there.
Don't need it. Don't need the script. You just need someone who got a C in their marketing class. I'm telling you.
Well,
the subterfuge is already there.
Our guy Chicken Unicorn, which love, an OG of the show, got the Viper conspiracy glasses on again.
Dude, I did. I also have matching what is called, they're literally called baby vibes for my son. They are awesome. The box says decorate your sex trophy. And I did. Listen, man, Pit Viper is like 100% best vibes company that's in existence, by the way. So anybody who wants to know, go get some baby vibes. Also, Eric, apparently John Martin's right here now, but we're going to disappear again behind the glasses. Just really weird. Did not know he picked the Mavs.
Yo, one of an OG to me, Miss Crystal Barton. Shout out to you. Yeah, always, forever a special person to me. So, Crystal, thank you for hanging out with us. But yeah, obviously that's a throwback to my Enterprise days. My God, I feel like I'm getting old just sitting here.
Enterprise. Daniel will pick you up. Don't call Enterprise.
Don't call me because I ain't picking up shit.
Keith. Thank you for congratulating her on graduating, but that still hurts.
Anyway, all right, we're completely off the rails at this point, but Going into that series, obviously 12.5-point spread in the first game. Not ideal. But the Grizzlies do have a little bit of mojo behind them. They're going to have one day off, which is tomorrow, Saturday, and then they're going to go, which is less than, I believe it's 36-hour difference from the time the game ends until the start of the noon Central Time game. We'll be playing OKC. Do you think that they come out flat in the first quarter, or do you think that they'll actually be okay just because of not having as many days off and being rusty as they have, as maybe OKC could be? Do you think that could be a momentum changing first quarter for them?
Depends on what you mean. Yes, I feel like game one is always the game that the underdogs that are massive underdogs can kind of steal. Because of that, you got a team who's been killing it all year. The Thunder have crushed the Grizzlies every single time they played this year. And the Grizzlies have been fighting for their life while the Thunder have been sitting home just trying to see who they're going to go murder in the next series would be their mindset, right? And so game one is typically the one, right? So yeah, I could 100% see that happening. If I had to guess, I would say yes for the first quarter, not for the first game.
Okay.
Right? They'll come out after that first quarter, I would think. But I don't know, man. The team's been awesome all year. If you're the Grizzlies, what you got to be doing is what you've been doing. You got to come out like, hey, we're going to shoot out of a cannon. We're going to jump on you early, and we're going to bring it to you all game long. So yeah, that would be the hope. Let me put it that way. That is the hope that happens.
Yeah, and I that's kind of where I am. Is they have to get off to a hot start. There's no way around it. The way I see this game playing out in the first half is I think the Grizzlies can stay relevant in the first quarter. I believe it'll be a little bit weird in the second quarter. The Grizzlies fight back, and I think it's going to be a game going into half, such as I think it's within 5 points, one way or the other. I don't know who's winning. I think that third quarter is going to be very pivotal. Maybe I struggle with that word so bad. I think the Grizzlies are going to be a team that has to figure out that third quarter because there's going to be an onslaught from OKC. And I know in Oklahoma City, they go to church. Okay, I get that. They might not be as jacked as they would hope that they're jacked. And you know what? The Thunder players might be thinking these fans aren't as excited to be here on Easter. And maybe Ja's going to roll that stone away in the third quarter, not the third day, and completely rise up and take the game over. All right, I tried. But I think that the game could be settled in that third quarter. And at that point, if you can figure out a way to catch a little momentum in the third quarter, you could steal a game. I don't see it happening. I'm not going to be a dummy here. But I do think that they have a chance in that third quarter. If they can play well in the third quarter, I think they have a chance to be there in the fourth at a shot to win the game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I just told you what the script was, but that's fine. All right, taking the script glasses off.
The script glasses.
taking off the daddy vibes, not to be confused with the baby vibes. Yeah, I said it. I don't care if it sounds weird. But I mean, listen, if you're the Grizzlies, like everybody's going to have you losing in like 5 max. Like everybody who's anybody is going to have you losing in 5. A lot of people are going to have you losing in 4. Or just getting absolutely swept. Truth of the matter is,
go ahead. I have questions after you get done, sir.
Truth of the matter is, both teams have a bunch of people who have not done anything in the playoffs. Like truly, outside of SGA, I guess Hartenstein for the Knicks, maybe you could say, but like nobody on the Thunder has proven anything in the playoffs. On the Grizz, you kind of got your 3 guys, but outside of Ja, you could say Dez too in that Minnesota series. Nobody's really proven anything in the playoffs that's playing for you because BC's out. So both teams are going to game plan. Now, there's no doubt about it. Like the Thunder have been amazing all year, and the Grizzlies have not been amazing all year. At the same time, you have time to game plan. Like guys show up and do their jobs. You give yourself a chance, right? And you force the Thunder to be uncomfortable, give yourself a chance. Now, it's a lot easier said than done. But like I said, truth be told, like the Thunder, the way they played this year, and the Grizzlies, the way they played this year, plus the state of the roster, it should not be a competitive series. At the same time, if Ja Morant gets a superhuman ankle, you could have the best player on the floor conceivably at any given point. That's also extremely difficult going against SGA, but listen, man, it's all I can hope for. They gave themselves a chance, so hopefully they make it a series.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think it could have very much a chance to be competitive. I don't expect them to win, but I do think they have a chance to be competitive. But we will see if Ja Morant has a Easter basket full of grenades and he's throwing out, launching from deep overall. Somehow you're laughing at something, and I want to know what it is, but not yet. Let's look at the lines because I'm looking at DraftKings and I'm curious where in the world your boy Ryan found these numbers. But OKC to win the series is minus 1,800 from what I see. So either Ryan is drunk or he's got really good odds somewhere different. But also the series spread. I kind of want to look at that. If you had to guess,
Spread.
what is God? You can't even play these. All right, total games. Let's look at that real quick. Not even out yet.
I don't want to guess it.
Not even out yet. But if I had to guess from these numbers, the Grizz, so Oklahoma City minus 2.5 games is minus 245. They're expecting them to win by 3 games. So 5-4-0, 5-1 is kind of what they're expecting. Not 5-2.
That's pretty surprising. I mean, I honestly, I'm surprised they're giving the Grizzlies 2 games in that series.
No, they're not. They're saying they're not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah,
because Grizzlies at plus 1.5 would be at plus 370. Plus 2.5 would be plus 195. So if they could win 2 games, you're getting plus 195. So with that being said, is double your money at that point. So the Grizzlies would have to win 2 games. So if you bet the Grizzlies to win 2 games within the entire series, it's plus 195. So they're saying they expect it to be 4-0, 5-1, either a sweep or gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would expect them to have out there.
Dude, no, hold on. Do me a favor. Put your glasses back on.
What are we talking about?
Yep. So I was looking at these odds. Grizzlies just to win 2 games, plus 195. I was wanting to get your thoughts.
Dog, go for the 3. We're about to make you guys so much money. Go for the 4. Now, don't go for 4 in a row. Don't be crazy. It can't be that obvious with it. But coming from a guy who got a C in marketing, I take it and I might go for 6 for sure and 7. Just take the Grizz, baby. Don't even worry about the game. Like, you need to do I guess this could be your own version of a ladder.
Ooh.
Game 1 plus. Just go ahead and parlay that puppy. Grizz winning the series. Game 2 plus. And you're going to say, hey, I can't do that for every game, Nate. I'm going to lose money if I do that for every game. You can't possibly win that. They're going to lose. You're going to make more money than you lose. It's parlay plus 4,000 to win the series with the Grizz winning every game. When you make $1 million, invite me to your house. It's easy money, baby. I got to see in marketing. I'm trying to tell you what I know.
So you're saying they're going to give them the dong on Sunday?
Don't use that kind of language with these glasses on. I'm trying to be a professional. But I do think that the Grizzlies come out victorious.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is going to be a fun series, but let's get into the last few minutes of the show. Last few minutes of the show. Let's talk about matchups. Okay. And we're gonna we're gonna switch out a couple of guys. So obviously, I think the 4 that we have seen are going to play, but there's a question on the 5th guy. So we're talking about Ja, Jaren, Bane, and Edie. Okay, on the other side you have, and listen, I said this on Morning Thunder, and I wasn't aware that they play so many guys. Not that just like the Grizzlies play so many guys. He expects, and this is Bobby who does the Morning Thunder, they expect him to play at least 9, maybe 10 guys in the first game. Like the way they like to do it is play a lot of guys in the first game, and then from there they'll adjust and kind of shrink the rotation down as the series goes. Is his opinion. So with that being said, I just expected that they would go Chet and Hartenstein to start.
Yeah.
He said that could actually not be. Hartenstein could come off the bench, depending on how the Grizzlies play their rotation. But if you look at these two, you have you have SGA, you have Jalen Williams, so J-Dub, that everybody calls him. Then you have Chet, and then you have Isaiah Hartenstein, and then you have Lou Dort. So at that point, who do you go with as your 5th man? I don't think there's a reason that you would go Asante. In your opinion, is there any chance you go Asante in that? Okay. So if you had to just kind of break it down, you think it's either going to be Scottie Pippen Jr. or John Conchart in no matter what order, just one of those two is a 5th man.
I think it's going to be Scottie. I think it's going to be Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
I'd probably go with Scottie, unless you're gonna. The only thing is what Keith's saying in chat. If he is gonna put Ja on SGA, that would be the only time you don't go with Scottie.
No,
I don't think there's
on
any
Lou
way
Dort.
you do that though, because you can't. Ja's gonna be so wore out with all the offensive load he's gonna have to take on. You can't have him guarding SGA on the other end too.
Keith, get out of here, Keith.
I think you gotta go. I think you're probably going Scottie. Because if you don't go Scottie, who are you going to put on SGA? Like the answer would be whoever you play instead of Scottie. You're not putting Ja on him. You're not putting Dez on him. That's going to be a disaster. No. So you're going whoever else. So you put Jitty on him. I think Scottie probably gives you the better chance on that. Lamar Stevens is not a terrible option as that goes, but Lamar Stevens is just not he's just not in the cards right now. For whatever reason, whether you think that's right or wrong, he's not in the cards right now of guys who are going to see the floor for Memphis, unless they're like scrambling because things are going south fast, right?
Yeah, so I just kind of wow. Ryan just brought up Vince. All right, we'll talk about Vince in a second, but I think if you look at this, you have the 4. I think it's Ja against Lou Dort. I think that's to me, that's understood because Lou Dort's not the offensive threat. I think Lou Dort's going to play Ja. As you switch the court, you're still 1 for 1. So your man that just guarded you can guard him back. And so at that point, you're talking about, then Bane against, J-Dub, Jalen Williams. I think that's a decent matchup. I'm fine there. I don't have any issues with that. I think Bane can play good enough defense. And then it's either going to be Scottie or, Conchart. I would expect Scottie if I had to just kind of make a, suggestion. And so at that point, we're talking about going on SGA. And if you can set a foul trouble, that's who you're going to guard. And so I think they're good there. And I would think Jaren on Chet because he's more of a threat on the offensive end, being, where he's able to spread it out. And he's not going to try to back you down. And then Edie on Hartenstein. And then we'll see if Edie can continue to be dominant as he has been in the last few matchups against Hartenstein. And then off the bench, I think it is what it is. You got to make sure Cason Wallace doesn't get off to a hot start. You got to make sure that it isn't just going to be just raining threes. They have to make sure they're boxing out. They have to defend as they have been. And I think they've been struggling. But I think that they know what OKC wants to do. And you just got to make sure that Ja is the guy with the ball on a consistent basis. And so as long as Ja has the ball, I think they'll be fine. But overall, I think Jitty and Scottie can do a good enough job on SGA as long as they allow them to play one-on-one, I think they'll do a good enough job to kind of keep the game close. And so at that point, that's all you can ask for.
That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I do want to talk about a matchup that's from tonight's game that I forgot to mention, but it's hilarious. Bro, the cameraman versus Nico Harrison. Did you see what happened tonight?
It was so bad. He goes off Anthony Davis goes off the court, injured.
Air ball, and the air ball goes directly into AD limping off the court.
Oh my God.
It immediately goes to Nico Harrison, who's just like, he's just looking around like a dead man walking. I am totally with everyone who's like trying to blame the owner. I think Nico 100% wanted to trade Luka. I don't think there's any chance he didn't want to get rid of Luka. At the same time, I think the owners also 100% wanted to get rid of Luka. And so that is like, for everyone who think like Nico's the only one that's taking the heat, he should not be the only one taking the heat. But I think everyone looks at owners like, yeah, of course that guy's a doofus. What did you expect?
He looked like a doofus. So I would say that yes, I think that Nico does, as Austin's saying here, he does look like an idiot completely. I think it was Nico's idea, like his great, idea, that his brainstorm, and he brought it to the owner. The owner's like, "We're gonna trade Luka, okay?" And he's like, "No, all right, hold, hear me out." And then I think he sold the owner on why. And just like, listen, we've all had bad ideas. I brought ideas to you and you've shot them down before. We need somebody that can kind of keep us in check. Unfortunately, the owner said, "You know what? That sounds like a great idea." And so at that point,
I trust you.
Yes. So I don't get it.
I wouldn't be surprised when we was team mix. I also just don't trust Adam Silver at all. Like, I would not be surprised if Adam Silver's tampered with the league left and right. But that's a conversation for later. That's true tinfoil Nate.
Yeah.
Worst commissioner in sports.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So no, Nico is not my cousin, King Meeks. Get that out of here. But I will say that Nico is a complete idiot. And if he's not fired next season, I would be shocked. Color me shocked.
Do not let him get fired and hired by the Lakers. That'd be bad news.
Horrible. All right. Final thoughts. We will not be here Sunday, so everybody's aware. We'll make sure that everybody understands we will not be here on Sunday after the first game. Now, I don't know your plans. We haven't actually talked about this, other than I said we're not doing a show Sunday. It's Easter. But if the Grizzlies win, can we do something?
Sure, maybe. I don't know. We'll probably get in trouble for it, but
we'll get in trouble, no doubt. But if the Grizzlies win, there will be content somehow that we will produce. I can't say it'll be right after the game. We'll hop on and do some type of maybe 15 minutes of just content somehow, some way, wherever we are. It might be on our phones, but we'll do it. If the Grizzlies win, I will say we'll do a few minutes of just talking about the game, just in general, and hopefully it'll be right after the game. But overall, we'll try our best. But unfortunately, I don't expect to be here. But let's look at the schedule real quick, so we can make sure that everybody's on the same page on the Thunder series. So the Grizzlies will take on the Thunder on Sunday. It's a noon start. God, it doesn't even have this is stupid. So it doesn't even have all the games lined up.
Of course not.
Dumb. All right, here we go. 4/22, which would be Tuesday. It's a TNT game. And then they're going to go 2 more days. And then they're going to go Thursday. And then 2 more days. And then they'll go Saturday. And then after that, the next day is Sunday. So they'd play Sunday again. And then they go later than that. So we'll figure it out. Joseph Mitchell, they said they had a watch party in Nashville. So we had a watch party here in Memphis at Ghost River Brewing again. So glad that Nashville is on doing it as well. Man. Riley Britton. Can you explain why Conchar is on the thumbnail? Why is Clay and not AD the thumbnail? Couldn't watch the game because he's at work. What happened?
It's twofold. So this is twofold. One, Jitty was awesome. So Jitty just had a pretty good game. Now, was he player of the game? Not necessarily. But did he have a good game? Yeah, it's good enough. Number two, I did have a tweet hit the algorithm tonight that John Conchar was the center of. So I think that was probably part of it. That was Chitty's face on that. I don't know if I've ever seen him have a facial expression before.
No, he usually is.
That didn't
Hashtag
involve giving
sports.
Steven Adams a finger. Like
Right.
that's the only time I've seen him laugh or anything. And he was like in true, like, oh my God, when Ja had that put back tonight. So I think everyone was as shocked as I was by that. But anytime Daniel has an excuse to put John Conchar as the thumbnail, that's going to happen. And he had multiple excuses tonight.
All right. And Riley Britton, to explain why I could not do AD, the pictures that I have of AD, and I get all my content, pictures, whatever, from Getty Images. I think they're good pictures. I wasn't going to go search forever. I tried so hard to do Anthony Davis, but the pictures that they have of him make him look homeless. Like he looks like he's just raggedy up top, and it did not look good. And I hate Klay Thompson, and I think the thumbnail makes him look like a word I probably don't want to use right now. And so, yes, I used Klay Thompson, and then I had Bane throughout the entire game except for the fourth quarter, and then I switched Jitty instead of Bane late just because, one, I knew I was going to go put on that jersey, Fort Wayne Mastodon jersey. But at that point, yes, I'm sorry. But Jitty played well. Bane played great. I was going to put Ja, but Ja's on every one, but I'll have SGA and Ja on the game one. I guess not game one, game two, as we do the thumbnail. So either way, final thoughts, wrap it up. Anything else we got? And no, King Minx, you're not allowed to come watch the game at my house Sunday.
Yes, you are. Go, King Minx. You're always allowed to Daniel's house. Courtesy of me. That's it, man. I'm glad they won tonight. I was super invested in that win after being super not invested in that win. So pumped. I'm glad we get to see this team play a few more games in the playoffs. And man, I really, honestly, more than anything, I just hope Ja Morant's able to be Ja Morant. And so you get at least the best version of these big three guys that you got.
We'll see. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is if Ja can stay Ja, we'll be fine. I think that they'll win a game. They have potential to win 2 games if Ja can stay healthy. And in all honesty, all it takes is somebody getting hurt on the OKC side for the Grizzlies to really have a chance. And I'm not saying I wish an injury on OKC, but injuries happen within a series. And so is it going to be like a Jalen Williams, SGA, like Chet, like one of their bigger guys? If somebody gets hurt, the Grizzlies then get a little closer to even on how, because they're without BC, without Jalen Wells. And so at that point, you kind of get a little bit closer to even on what you can stand on. So we'll see. The Grizzlies being the 8 seed now, going against a 1, crazier things have happened. And so we'll see what happens. If the Grizzlies can somehow find a way to keep it fun in the in the first, I'll be shocked. So either way, we're gonna have a good time on Sunday watching the game together, probably with family, probably with friends. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing on Easter, but we will not be here unless the Grizzlies win. The Grizzlies win, I'll contact Nate. We'll see what we can do to try to find some type of content to put out as soon as we possibly can get together, because I would assume that's 2:30 in the afternoon. Might have a chance to put up something. We'll see. Anyway, that's all we got for the show. We have another 4 more games. That means 4 more Grizz 901s at least. Well, 3 more Grizz 901s at least as we move forward. So we'll see everybody next time. I guess it will be a Tuesday that we'll be back here doing the show. But that's all we got. Thank you all for joining us as always right here at Grizz 901. I'm Daniel. That's Nate. We'll see you all again Sunday if they win. Tuesday for sure. We'll see y'all then. Be nice and tell your friends.